So I initially kind of held off on making this video because I wanted to know the diagnosis of what was going to happen with Sophie Cunningham's injury, and it turned out to be what exactly a lot of us feared. Looks like she tore her MCL and she is out for the season. Such a disappointing end to a season for Sophie Cunningham, where she was really catching fire, I would say, on the court, off the court, and, made a lot of fans of a lot of the Indiana Fever fan base kind of stepped into what, I think a lot of people would say she was the emotional leader in a lot of cases, for this team ever since Caitlin kind of went down. And it's just one injury on top of the other for the Indiana Fever. And this sucks. As just seeing it happen, it was for me one of the more devastating kind of injuries, I think, like just season enders, I think, that I can recall. In a way, it kind of reminded me of some of those old Andrew Bynum injuries that would happen, where somebody would fall into his leg and you would just be like, oh my God, please get up, please get up. And sometimes he got up, sometimes he didn't. You guys have all seen the play. Just, a total circumstance you couldn't really predict. Bria Hartley was driving on the baseline and, was going for a pass, I believe. I think it was Kelsey Mitchell. She was trying to avoid, comes down, falls into Sophie Cunningham. Bria Hartley's reputation makes it very hard to extend the benefit of the doubt to her, because she's been involved in numerous incidents throughout the year, whether it was pulling Angel Reese's hair. Just last week, she was involved in something with, I believe, Rebecca Allen of the Chicago Sky. I've seen her and Rakia Jackson going at it. So I know it's not easy to extend the, possibility of this being an accident. I wanted to talk about Sophie Cunningham's comments on it and play those as well. So let's take a look at what Sophie had to say.
No, I don't, because I know Bria and I'm actually really good friends with Bria, and I have been waiting to get on the pod and so we could talk about this, because I did want to tweet it out, but I don't think that there was no ill intent. I think it was basketball play. I was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. She fell. Like, there's no way that she would go in there and intentionally try to hurt me. And so, I had nothing but love for Bria. And I even told my mom, cause she tweeted something. I was like, no, mom, I get it. But I promise you that I was like, Bria and I are super cool. And she would never try to hurt me. Cause there are some girls that I think might, but she wouldn't do that. And so, I have nothing but love. And so I hope people stop giving Bria some heat, because I don't think she meant to do that at all. And I think that smile, it wasn't it was ooh, one of those. So, I'm totally fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'll take the athlete at their word on that one, because that's doing a lot to try to assume intent. I don't think it was a clear targeting case, like somebody is coming up to a pile and trying to knock somebody over. So let's say she was doing that on purpose. That is a very lucky circumstance to actually achieve your goal, which you intended to do, because you could have easily just fell on your face there. So I'm not buying the intentionality behind it, especially, in light of Sophie Cunningham's comments. Just looking at what, the Indiana Fever lose, it just becomes that much harder to really see the top level for this team. We're all waiting on word for when Caitlin Clark is, going to resume practice, when she's going to, rejoin the rotation. Seeing hardship players come and go, but honestly, this isn't what a lot of folks signed up for. This stinks. I think the injuries in the WNBA are out of control at the moment, and I think a lot of that you can point down to some of the physicality, obviously, in the league. But they did add more games this year. They did not add more money, for those games either for the players. So they just, have put those back-to-backs in there, multiple games per week. And you would think if you're adding the 4 games, you can put it in a way to where there's not so much stress on the athletes between the travel And who knows, what can happen to anybody at any time. I'm not saying that. It's just like you're adding these extra factors, extra games, more travel, and no compensation for it. As this season kind of wraps up, like you're just seeing like this rash of injuries. Like Nafisa Collier's still out. Obviously, Caitlin Clark's been out a month. Sophie's going down. We already know what happened to Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson. Just I remember the very first game of the season, like the LA Sparks, Ray Burrell just was down with a knee injury for like 6 weeks. Breanna Stewart still out. Jonquil Jones missed plenty of time. I think this is also another argument for expansion of the rosters, not just adding more teams to enrich the WNBA, but actually be able to bring more people into camp that are familiar with systems that can probably, step in a little bit easier and end this hardship nonsense. I think a lot of people are just looking at it like what is the point of that? It feels so cheap, and it feels like, all right, if you had 15 people on a roster, if you lose 2 people to injury, you're not like flirting with single digits. Like it just doesn't come off as efficient for me, and it doesn't come off as like something a major league sport really would do. And they have a lot of weird rules regarding that with, when you can sign a hardship person, when you're allowed to, like you might have a game the next day and you're not eligible to sign a hardship person until the day after. Like they need to get rid of all that. But best wishes definitely go out to Sophie Cunningham because she was taking it on the chin. She was, if the Indiana Fever were most hated, we already know who number 1 most hated is, but number 2 was right behind her, and Sophie Cunningham, taking it from the opposing fans, standing up for her teammates. She earned tons of respect, and I can't wait till she's back in the Indiana Fever uniform next year. I think she's on the must protect list, and I say you work out, some type of multi-year deal with her after this, because if you're going to war, I think I want somebody like, especially with Caitlin Clark, I want Sophie Cunningham there with her. So best wishes to her. Hope she keeps giving us the entertaining podcasts and everything like that, because we will have plenty to talk about from that. And she's giving us a look into the league that's confirming some things that we think, other things that we don't. Most importantly, she's expanding her own profile as well. So shout out to her, and let me know what you guys think about Sophie being out. What is the Fever going to look like, and what's next, man? Can this too be overcome? Anyway, my name is Rich Latta. Peace. This is One Lifetime.